Again, it's a great privilege for me to be here with you. A great privilege. When we think of all that must be done in the church, we think of all the great need that there is in the world. We look at ourselves in the mirror. We seem powerless to affect any change. And in fact, we are. All our intelligence, all our academics, all our eloquence matters nothing. There is a mountain that stands before us that cannot be moved by the arm of the flesh. I wish in my own life, and I wish in yours, that for once and for all, we could put away all confidence in the flesh. I do not wish that we would be strong. I wish that we would be weak. That we would all come to a point in our lives when we realize that we can't breathe apart from the power of God. I would pray even that in God's providence, He would work weakness into our lives, no matter the cost. Whether it be trial, whether it be pain, whether it be affliction or persecution, it doesn't matter. Whatever it takes to work weakness into our lives so that we would seek Him and be filled with Him. There's so much that I would like to say today, so much. And I'm going to try to touch on several things that must be a part of the life of the man of God, of the woman of God. Mark chapter 1, before we read our text, a famed psychologist once said this: busyness and hurry are not of the devil. They are the devil. Now, I don't agree with secular psychologists, and even this statement has its error in it, but there is a great point to be taken. One of the greatest attacks of the enemy is to make you busy, to make you hurried, to make you noisy, to make you distracted, to fill the people of God and the church of God with so much noise and activity that there's no room for prayer. There's no room for being alone with God. There's no room for silence. There's no room for meditation. Remember a poem years ago that was written, I try to quote it here, talking about Jesus coming in from the wilderness. And it says, weak from the journey, the long passing days, hungry to worship and join in the praise. But shock met with anger that burned on his face when he entered the wasteland of that barren place. Talking about Christ coming in from the wilderness and then going into the temple in hopes to find praise and prayer, but only he finds noise and barrenness. Shock met with anger that burned on his face as he entered the wasteland of that barren place. And then it talks in the poem about him making a whip and driving out all the noise, all the clatter, all the activity. It says then, the noise and confusion gave way to his word. At last, sacred silence, so God could be heard. Conferences like this are wonderful. Meeting together and challenging and encouraging one another, it's wonderful. It is a part of the will of God and the work of God. But all of it comes to nothing unless you go home and you spend more time with your God. You spend more time with Him.